I'm Rachael McIntosh. I'm from Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. I'm a Canadian heptathlete, and I compete for the University of Calgary Dinos in the pentathlon as well. So I moved to Calgary just about 3.5 years ago now, but originally from the East Coast, and I've lived all over Canada and in the US as well.
Yay, that's awesome. Welcome, Rachel. We're so excited to have you on our Dream Big Talks, and we had the privilege of watching you, well, actually watching you for the last year or so compete in track and field, and you are such an inspiration to others. So thanks for being here.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now you're going to be on the hot spot, and we're going to ask you a whole bunch of questions. So,
I'm excited.
yeah, on your blog, you wrote "The journey is the reward."
hmm
Explain how you developed that philosophy.
I have no idea. It kind of just, there was one day and something just clicked, and that kind of quote spoke to me, and I really understood that the journey is the reward. The journey is why we do everything. I would love to be an Olympian, and I would love to go to the Olympics, but at the end of the day, when I'm standing on the track, it's one day, and that one day can't be worth everything, and same with my school. I've been in school for 5 years, and I'm not doing it to have a piece of paper at the end that says you did 5 years of school, because no one's going to hire me with this piece of paper. They're going to hire me with everything I learned along those 5 years. So I don't know, just one day it just kind of clicked, and I was like, every single day is what matters, and every single day I just need to appreciate it and wake up and have the best day ever and go to bed and do it again tomorrow. And ever since then, honestly, I've always been like the happiest person on earth. But ever since then, it was just like every day is so exciting and every day is just so rewarding in itself.
Yeah, that's so powerful to hear because it's so easy to get caught up in the rush of everything and
Yeah,
lose sight of being in the moment. So good for you.
exactly. No, thank you so much. It's really exciting that
Yeah.
other people are excited about it too, because it wasn't until, I'd heard it 100 times, but it wasn't until I understood. It was just like, wow, every single meet I've been to is just as exciting as the Olympics, like lots of people would love to be in my shoes. So I'm just really happy to be able to be the one doing it and enjoying it.
Absolutely. If you go to the Olympics or not, we still love you.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome. Well, I love you guys too.
so another question, you wrote of a text that you received one day, and it said, "If I had one wish for any athletes I know, it would be for you to have the confidence you had in junior high and senior high." Many girls struggle with self-esteem during those years and self-confidence.
Mhm.
What challenges did you face then, and how did you overcome them?
Well, back then was kind of, and I'm very confident and very, I'm great now too, but back in high school, I was just carefree. And when you're living with mom and dad and people kind of take care of you, you don't really have any, worries in the world. And so back then I really just the same as I am again now. It's, every day is just I'm happy, I'm here, I'm doing what I'm doing. And so back then I never really had a challenge that arose that got me too flustered about anything. So what she was talking about in that text was my high jump. I was struggling with my high jump recently, and back then I would just attack no matter what, rain, snow, anything. I'd be out there with confidence, and so for me now I had a little bit of a challenge with that, and she was just like, you know what? Do you remember back when you were just so, you know, excited to high jump and you were capable and you're still capable? And so I really had to dig deep and find the 17-year-old in me, and that 17-year-old never had a worry in the world, never had a doubt in the world. And that's how everyone should be, because if you could do it back then, you can do it now. And so I'm really fortunate that I didn't really have any concerns or anything, troubling me at that age, and I let myself enjoy life because of that, and I had no challenges arise because I wasn't worried about anything.
Exactly. That
It's
is so
incredible.
great. Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding. To have that just positive
Yep.
attributes of just, let's just go with the flow.
Yeah, your worries arise when you go looking for them, and so you find them more now because you expect them. But back then, I wasn't expecting anything to go wrong, and it never did. So, just don't go looking for trouble because it'll find you if it wants to. But just don't go looking
Exactly.
for it.
Yeah, I really like that. Worries arise when you go looking for them.
Yeah, totally.
That's a powerful statement.
Thank you.
I'm going to use that in my life.
Nice.
So, another thing that you said is, I believe that our brains can build up barriers for us that are bigger than any physical barriers, kind of like we're saying, that we
Yeah.
may encounter. So, sometimes my mind is my secret weapon to success. And
Hmm.
sometimes my mind is tripping me before I can get to the finish line.
I remember writing that, and it's still, I don't think these things every day, which is why I'm so glad I write them down,
Hmm.
because to go back and hear something like that, it's a very good reminder, kind of like exactly what I just said. When
Yep.
you go looking for worries, they're going to pop up, but they were never there before you went looking for them. And
Yeah.
so for me with high jump is something that I create these obstacles and they're not there and I just create them. And it's kind of like hearing you say that, it was like, Rachel, you're creating them, just stop. And so I just think that your worries, are only creating problems for you. And if you can get over physical barriers like hurdles and high jump, then you can definitely get over any anything that you come up, because you're just creating it yourself anyways, right? So,
Right, right. So, what would be some sort of advice for young girls that, the hurdles come up for them, or something like a high jump, or,
mhm,
a friend not, liking them for the moment, or what
right.
have you? What kind of advice do you give to not, trip themselves up on that?
Right. Well, the first thing is recognizing that it's all on you. You have to make the conscious decision to, recognize that that barrier is there. Because even if you didn't bring it on yourself, you can still kind of push it to the side and it does go away. And then the other thing too is, for me, when I get those barriers in high jump, it's just, why are you doing this? Is it really important that it's there? If a friend, really upsets me and I don't know how to deal with it, it's just like tomorrow, that worry, I wake up in the morning, it's gone. Or if it needs to be dealt with, it's just like you figure out the best way for you and for them. But it's just like every morning for me, I wake up clean slate. And I have a quote here, actually, I'm going to read it to you because I love it. And I
I
have
want
it
you
on
to
my
read it.
mirror. And I have it on my
Yeah.
mirror because it says, finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities, no doubt, have crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely and with way too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. This day is all that is good and fair. It is too dear, with its hopes and innovations, to waste a moment on yesterday's. And it's just like I wake up in the morning and it's like yesterday is gone and today is a good day. And then it's a good
Wow.
day.
Yeah, you are so fresh and exciting and just so positive that you reap that. I can feel it from here.
Thank
What?
you. No, I love it. And I take a moment now every time I read a quote to kind of like spend time thinking about it. Because, like, to me, they're not really quotes anymore. It's like these are real lessons, like in words. Like, these are things that, there's something in there for you. So I
Wow.
love it. It's just like yesterday's yesterday, and today I wake up and there were no problems today because I just woke up. So the
That,
problems will find me later, but
yeah, yeah. But then tomorrow's a new day.
exactly. So I kind of try to go to bed and forget about whatever happened that day, and the next day, whatever arises is there.
Yeah. You know what? I'm glad that you're talking about quotes because you have a quote that actually made me find you. Like I mean, I've known about you for a long time, but it
Yeah.
made me find you and really say, wait a minute, this girl's amazing.
Oh,
Because this is something for me is why I made the Dream Big conference for girls and parents
yeah.
is because I believe in dreams. And
Yeah.
on your webpage, the first thing that you see is if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough.
And that was probably the first quote that really like got me excited. And it was just, as an athlete, I'll be honest, it's not easy. And being a university student, it is not easy. And I probably only encounter, one day every month that I'm like, oh, do I have to today? And, like we're going to have those because this journey is not easy.
Yeah.
But then, the more people I talk to, it's like everyone wants to be in my shoes. Like people look up to you and people get excited about what you're doing. And it's like, you're doing something that not everyone can do.
Yeah.
And so those days are going to arise. But it wasn't until I realized that if your dreams are really easy and they're not challenging, then everyone would just do them. And so it's kind of like by doing something that's so difficult that it makes you not want to do it sometimes. You
Yeah.
love it so much, but you still hate it at the same time.
Hmm.
That's when you know you're doing the right thing because anything that's easy is not really worth it to me. And, there's some things, little challenges, and okay, you overcome them, it's great. But
Yeah.
when you have something really, really big that you're working for, and you're getting so much out of life along the way, your journey's so full, it's so awesome, then when you achieve that, it's just like the world can end today, and I'll just be the happiest.
Nice.
So I hope the world doesn't end the day I go to the Olympics. But
No,
if
I
it
don't
were,
think so.
if it were,
You have at least a couple of them in
oh
now.
yeah, I've got a couple, and then other journeys to take. So
Yeah.
I've got lots of stuff to be excited about.
Exactly. So you are so confident in yourself. I feel that. I see that. I hear that. Even watching you this past weekend and the Great Bear Open, that absolutely. You just emanate that.
Yeah.
But the key to having that confidence is worrying less about how other people see you, right?
Mhm.
And more about how you see yourself.
Hmm.
How do you see yourself so positively? And what kind of advice would you give some girls that don't feel that confidence so much?
The biggest thing for me, actually, I took a drama course probably 2 years ago with a teacher named Patrick Finn here at the university. And on the first day of class, half of the class was doing a play, and the other half of the class was doing a research project. And so I don't spend much time around people who do drama and things like that. So he was speaking to them first, because he was addressing the people who were acting that year. And he was talking about finding this place of vulnerability and he's like, that's where the magic happens, when you're vulnerable and you just everything is gone and it's you and you're in the moment. And I was just like, wow, like I've never really thought about vulnerability having such like an important, you think of it as something that you don't want to be vulnerable, right? Like you think about it as something so scary, but he talked about it as this place of like, that's where the magic happens, and I never really, until I went to that drama class, I never realized, until you can be okay with the cards that you're dealt, that's what you've got. And so just be vulnerable and not worry about what anyone thinks. And that's when the magic happens. And he was very motivational. I don't know how inspirational I was when I just said that, but he was really like, you are going to be as best as you can be when you realize that you're giving all you got and you're doing it for you and for nobody else. And that's my biggest thing is, at the end of the day, I'm the one going to bed with a smile on my face. I don't care if the person I beat, that day is not happy with me, because you're doing everything for you, right? And it's like I'm not doing things to impress my classmates at school because, they're doing things to impress other people, and so they're happy anyways. But I'm doing things to make my life as good as it can be and as happy as I can be. And I mean, my mother she's just kind of me in a couple years, really, or I'm her a few years ago, but my mom is the same way. She's like, I don't care what people think about me. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I have an amazing family, and I'm just living it the exact same way. It's like, if you choose to be happy and you really don't care, you're going to be happy, and isn't that the point of life, like being happy? So
Yeah.
it's just a choice. Honestly, you have to be okay with saying, I don't care what anyone says or thinks, and I'm happy with the decisions I make.